have a gentle squeeze and just follow your outline. And it's okay if, you know, if your outline breaks a little bit, we can fix that, okay? I should have made the, yeah, can we redo that? It's not coming out very good. Now we're gonna ice our cookie. So what you wanna do is you want to go right over where you have drawn your outline, okay? And with a gentle but even pressure, squeezing down, you want to do the best you can to follow the outline. Now, if you go over a little bit, that's okay, okay? Now, once we've got the initial outline, you can go over it again if you like, you don't have to, and we can begin our flooding. Our flooding is when we're gonna fill the cookie, okay? Now, I like to start at the top and then just kind of fill the edges as close as you can to the edges. You can go a little faster because you're not worried that you're going to go over your little drawing, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be perfect because we have our trusty little toothpicks and we're going to fix any little mistakes, okay? I say okay a lot. So I'm just filling any little spots that I didn't get the first time around, and I think that looks pretty good. It's nicely flooded, and now I have my little toothpick, and here all you're going to do is you're going to just fill the little holes, okay? And you just want to drag very gently on the top and come to the edges, okay? And you can see that the royal icing just kind of smooths itself out. There you go. We can give it a little tap. And if there's any little spots that need a little extra, you just drag your toothpick over it, okay? And tap it. And that's good. We can just let that one. So I've flooded filled a few cookies in, following the outline that we drew, okay? Now I'm going to freehand one to show you that you don't actually need to draw on your cookie if you feel confident enough, okay? So let's just grab a spot, and we're just going to do a little teardrop on this one. And we're going to just follow the shape of the cookie. And voila, it looks pretty good. And I will flood it. Now you can flood by cutting a bigger tip, a bigger hole on your tip of the piping bag. And then of course the icing will come out quite a bit quicker. But I like to just do it this way. It's nice and uniform. You get a nice uniform thickness to your icing on the cookie. And I think it gives you a little bit more control. That way you're not going to go over your outline. Okay. And now I think it's time for the toothpick. Again, we just drag gently to the edges to fill any little gaps that we missed. And as you can see, when I'm dragging, it automatically wants to join the outline, and it doesn't go past the outline because this icing is already starting to set because of the thickness of it, okay? Now, if it was a bit runnier, then you would have a problem because it would spill over your cookie and you'd make a big mess. So you're gonna have to practice with the thickness of your royal icing to a consistency that you're comfortable working with. Now we let these dry. Next step, I'm going to show you how we end up with this cute little guy. We're gonna add his little feet and his little hands. I've already got a cookie that's been flooded and filled, and I just want to show you guys approximately where you want to put your little hands and feet and where you're going to put your little decoration on the hat and the beard, okay? So basically the midpoint is where you're going to put your little nose, but that's going to be our very last step. But I've marked the cookie for you. Now, halfway down, from the nose down, that's where you're going to put your little hands. If you put it in the middle, it's going to look like the little gnome has got funny ears. So you want to kind of put it down at the bottom, and then of course his little feet. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pipe some little black hands and some little black feet onto our little gnome, okay? And there I go saying okay again, so I will apologize for that. So get my little there's one little hand. And they're just little circles, really. And you can fix them up a little bit with a toothpick after. Our handy dandy toothpick tool, so you can make them more ovally if you like. Again, you will have to play with the consistency. I like to use a thicker icing when I'm doing the details, and that way they don't spread out too much. So now I'm going to pipe the little decoration on the hat, and I've chosen to use a nice little light gray color. And you just want to follow your little design that you drew, okay? And you can freehand this as well. You don't have to draw it on. I just drew it on so you guys could see that you can design it any which way you like. Our next step is going to be putting on a little beard. My husband decided that he could pipe, so he has made his own cookie. Anyways, anybody can make cookies. Our next step is going to be giving this little gnome his cute little beard. So what you want to do is just above his little hands, you're just going to do a semicircle, okay, with your white. And you just want to, and then you want to bring it down. So you want to do basically a triangle. And then you want to flood it. And don't worry too much about being super, super tidy once you're inside your little triangle. Just fill it in as best you can. And then once we have it nicely filled, we take our toothpick and we fill in any of the little spots that we didn't quite get to. And once you're happy with the shape of his beard, we can drag. I like to drag over and down, but you can totally go up and give him whiskers that go up or whiskers that go down. And then you can drag on the bottom, give it a little bit of a curl. And again, to make his beard look like he's got some little scraggly bits. And there is your little gnome with his beard. Basically, the only thing we have left to do is give him his little nose. So you want this to dry for at least 20 minutes before you do the final touch on your little gnome, which is to put a little dollop of a light pink for his nose.
Nailed it.
Just letting these little beards dry, and then we're going to put the little noses on. Our last step is to put a little nose on our little gnome. So once your beard has dried to the point where it's no longer tacky or it feels fairly stiff, you can go ahead and put your little nose on, okay? About 20 minutes, I would say. And we just put a little dollop. You can make the nose little, or you can make it a little bit bigger. And there he is. He's super cute. And thanks for joining me on my very first tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and good luck making your very own gnome sugar cookies.